Good evening, everyone. My name is Christian Karasevich, and you're watching Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing talk show, where we're covering social media news, social media trends, tools that we've discovered throughout the week that we think can help you as a business owner. And tonight I'm going to be joined by my co-host Nick Rishwain, and then also tonight we have Lisa Monks from it's ChipMonkMedia, and she's our guest for tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just say a quick hi, and then we're going to bring on Nick, and then we're going to bring on Lisa. How's everyone doing? My name's Christian. So next I'm going to bring up Nick. So Nick Rishwain is my co-host. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. So we've got Lisa Monks. Lisa, welcome. So Lisa's from Australia, right? Very nice. So I'm just going to bring everybody up here just so you can kind of get an idea of who is on the show tonight. So how's everyone doing? Oh, you're very welcome. Nick, how's it looking on Facebook, actually? Are we looking good? Okay. No worries at all. So we've got a lot of really great topics, I think, tonight to talk about, right, Nick? Definitely. So where do you want to start, by the way? So, I mean, normally what we do is, we cover, 3 to 5 topics, a couple of tools. What do you want to start with tonight? Let me check that real quick then. Okay. Let's see. And that's actually good to hear. Thanks for letting us know that. Let's see. So try that now, actually. I'm wondering if it just might be delayed. Okay, try that now. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, I mean, we haven't changed any of the setup from the other day, actually, so we should all be live. Okay, let me check something. And these are always the fun glitches of using a new tool. But we'll get through this. Let's see. Okay. Okay, try now. Let's see if that does it. That's interesting. That is. Okay, let me play. I'll play this some more. Okay. So let's keep chatting here. Let's see. Huh. So there's no audio whatsoever coming out to Facebook Live? Okay, let me see. Yeah, I mean that's typical. That's typical. Yeah, there's always gonna be a little bit of a delay. Let me see. So I should have you all captured. Let me just try it one more time. Actually, it shouldn't. It's set up exactly how we set it up the other day. So let me just check something. So I'm getting that. I'm getting audio here. Let me just see what's going on here. So we get that. We got output. Yeah, let me try something. Let me actually unplug my headphones and see if that fixes the issue, maybe. Because that actually might be the issue. Let me see. Okay, can you all hear me on? Can you all hear me live at all? Like, okay, you can hear me. How about Nick or?
Yeah, we hear you on Facebook as well as.
Yeah, I can hear you on live.
Okay, and are y'all getting picked up on that or no?
No.
That's interesting. I guess
Oh,
that's.
Nick, Nick, I can hear you. I can hear
Yep.
you, Nick. Oh, we're on.
Okay, let me try.
I can hear you, and I can hear Nick, and I can hear you.
Yep, we got everybody.
Okay, let me try one more thing real quick. Okay, I'm gonna plug my headphone back in. Otherwise, hold on 1 second. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, can you guys hear me at all? Okay, so everybody's good now? Okay, good. Okay. So okay. How's that? Is that better?
Is that better, Philip? Let us know.
No sound. Vincent said no sound.
No sound again.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, let me change that real quick. So I think the audio issue is the headphone jack for some reason.
Yeah, it seems to be. Yeah, they can hear us now, they said.
Okay, cool. Okay.
They had headphones out.
Okay, ditch in the headphones for right now. We'll come back to those at another point.
Or we don't have to. I'm fine if we don't have to. I'm just kidding. Okay, so our first story tonight. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Thank you for your help, Nicole, Vincent. We have Scott Symes, Don Bell, and Philip. Thank you all for your assistance with that while we test out this new software. And our first story, finally, an update to video monetization by Facebook. They want to help their partners monetize their premium video content both on Facebook and on their own websites and apps. So they're sharing 3 updates about video monetization. All eligible publishers, which is not us right now and not anybody that I know of, can now make money from in-stream video ads on their own websites and apps through the Audience Network. And then the second item, on Facebook, they're expanding their beta test of ad breaks in Facebook Live to additional profiles and pages in the U.S. So that's commercials in the middle of your Facebook live stream. And we have started testing ad breaks in on-demand video on Facebook with a small number of partners. So, seems like they are working on ways to help folks advertise within video and monetize their video. Seems like they are working on ways to help folks advertise. I'm getting some feedback there. I'm hoping not everybody else is getting that. So is that, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts, Lisa, please?
Video monetization. Oh gosh, I think it was definitely something that's been coming. It's been predicted for a long time. How they roll it out, it's in-stream video ads. my question would be, how are they going to select the sort of video ads with matching it up with the actual live video content that's going out? I know it's obviously it's only in the US at the moment. Is that correct?
That's what it appears. That's what it says. Yeah, the beta test for ad breaks in Facebook Live to additional profiles and pages in the U.S. And then they don't say who the small number of partners that they're testing the on-demand video with.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's going to be only rolled out for the big players at the moment, as it's in beta test. And they will be able to, how I see it is they'll be able to monitor that, but when they roll it out to the greater audience, as they always do eventually, I think that's where it's going to get really interesting.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see who takes advantage of it immediately, and interesting to see who starts making money off of it. The one thing I found really interesting about this was the ability through their audience network, eligible publishers can make money from in-stream video ads on their own websites. So Facebook is trying to grow their audience by using the websites of their eligible publishers.
Yeah.
Christian, what are your thoughts?
I think that, I like the fact that they're trying to kind of be selective about who would get these, having certain requirements to let people monetize, because, I mean, really, you don't just want people it's a tough thing, because you don't just want people broadcasting just because they're going to make a couple of dollars here and there. You want people that are actually going to be providing value by putting out, a quality show. So I like the fact that they have those requirements. I think that, in this case, it's going to have to be, I think it's still a big ramp up, to get everybody on board with using it. A lot of people, probably not going to want to, they'll want to monetize it, but then it comes down to, well, what kind of content are they monetizing, really? So overall, I like the fact that they're at least having these options. I think that, I'd love to see more tie-ins like to instant articles and those sorts of things, to be able to, maybe encourage you to share your Facebook post within a Facebook Live video or something that has the audio option. That has the audio option. That has the, that has the monetization option. Sorry. Vince and I were chatting about the audio just to make sure it was still good. So.
Okay, good. And yeah, what I'm getting, what I can play on my audio without totally messing up what I'm doing here seems to be okay.
Good. And it's a work in progress. So I want to say, I really appreciate everybody who's really given us some help tonight with, keeping us posted on various idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, thank you very much for those who are still watching with us and giving us feedback. Much appreciated. So let's move into our second topic, which is essentially related to the first, which is Facebook Video app is out on Apple TV. Now, we talked about this happening a week or two back, that it was planned, but now it's happening. After launching Samsung, this is from The Verge, and after launching Samsung's smart TVs earlier this week, Facebook's new dedicated video app is now available on the Apple TV. The app allows easy access to Facebook videos on the Apple TV and will recommend content shared by friends and based on pages you already like on the networking site. So, I think that sums up this topic. I think this is good as far as live video and other video on Facebook. They want it on a bigger screen. People, when they're hanging out at home, if they want to watch our show, preferably they want to watch our show. And in doing so, they can do it at home. What are your thoughts, Lisa? Do you think do you like this idea?
Well, I definitely love the whole concept of being able to stream directly to a large screen television. What I think, if I was any of the networks, television networks, I'd be seriously worried, because this is Facebook going all out to hit the networks. They're going to see live streaming everything, and they're not holding back at all, and they're moving very, very fast.
I agree. They are not holding back. They are moving full speed ahead on this. Christian, what are you thinking?
I love the idea of having an app. I think that, it's going to go back to, it's going to be just like the monetization thing, actually. The fact that people are going to be producing these shows, and you're building an audience, I mean, you essentially are going to start stealing market share, as Lisa just mentioned. I mean, from all these big like cable providers. I mean, they have to be they need to be working on something like this if they want to stay relevant, because at some point people are going to start tuning them out. They're not going to care about the fact that, oh, this person's a celebrity, because hey, they're getting paid millions of dollars to produce to be a cast on a show, when people are able to go and create their own thing. And while we've had these tools for a while, I think just because they're a lot easier now for people to use, I think that really makes it something that's going to really draw people in. I like the fact that this is coming to Apple TV 4th generation, the Samsung Smart TV as well. I love that. I still think though, one thing that does have to be figured out here is bandwidth, because one, you don't have a lot of time to watch a lot of shows, but at the same time, you also need to have a very good internet connection if you want a good picture. So.
Mm-hmm. And that brings us to another topic, sort of. Go ahead, Lisa.
I was just going to say, I don't know about in the States, but here in Australia, it's not cheap. Wi-Fi data is not cheap at all, so it will be interesting to see how that all plays out with regards to people's, plans. There's a couple of companies that have a bit of a monopoly here in Australia, and yeah, it's expensive.
Can you give us a rough number, maybe? I want to kind of quantify this for people, because for example, I mean, here in the States you pay a few $100s easily just for internet and internet and cable.
So that's a month, right?
Yeah, a couple $100 a month, yeah.
Oh gosh, let me think. Well, I'm probably paying between my mobile phone and my Wi-Fi at home. It's all linked. It works out to be over $200 a month.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are smaller plans and there are larger plans. I try obviously keep the majority of what I do to at home, because I've only got a very limited amount on my mobile. So obviously when I'm live streaming or wanting to watch anything out, it comes out of my mobile plan, which is only 7 gigs. It's not much at all. When you're thinking of watching live streaming, it doesn't take many Facebook Lives for me to chew up my mobile plan at all. At home it's okay. So if you're watching live streaming telecasts and whatnot at home, it's generally not too problem, because they're not too bad. But mobile, external to your home Wi-Fi network, is expensive.
And by the way, that is one thing, when you kind of look into this, when you look at the data providers, you look at the networks, you look at CBS, NBC, all those places, a lot of them are, they're pushing certain things to, through a different network than what we normally would be using. They have a lot of more high-powered equipment, that affords them that opportunity. And then you have, so I'm wondering, while I love this app, there needs to be some sort of medium to come into play here that's going to make it easier, I think, for people to be able to do this themselves. Because Nick and I, you and I looked at the equipment for us to do just our show now, and I mean, I think in some cases it's thousands of dollars if you want a very good machine on top of having a strong internet signal.
That's right.
And the average person, they're not going to have most of those things. So
no, which is why we have relied on our dashing good looks and great personality to make this thing succeed.
That was a good one.
Thank you. But that leads us into another related social media TV topic. I'm going to skip around a little bit, because this one is really goes in with the TV, and Vincent has mentioned it in the comments here on Facebook. Well, it is YouTube has unveiled YouTube TV, its live TV streaming service. So after a year of rumors, YouTube is finally drawing back the curtain. This article comes from TechCrunch. After rumors, YouTube is finally drawing back the curtain on its latest play for entertainment industry domination, a live TV service. At the company, a crowd of roughly 100 journalists settled into tables and chairs arrayed, and they basically played strains of Video Killed a Radio Star for this announcement. Distinct from the YouTube Red service, the new service is YouTube TV, which has been in the works for a while, and they've been inking contracts with media companies to distribute their content on its TV service. according to Bloomberg, YouTube had been talking with all of the major networks to roll up this content. CBS was the first major TV network to sign on to the service, with all the other studios also roped into discussions, including Fox, Comcast, NBC Universal, and Disney, which owns ABC and ESPN and others. So it looks like they're going to be offering some news services, sporting events, things like that through YouTube Live. Vincent mentioned, or YouTube TV. Vincent mentioned that he's a cord cutter. I too am a cord cutter, but I'm not big on the live events that that CBS and CNN and the other news services provide. And I'm not a big ESPN watcher, so I might be one of those folks who stays away from this account, which initially at least, which is evidently $35 a month, is what, with no long-term contract. So, Lisa, what are your thoughts on YouTube TV? Is it something you would do? You would
actually
invest in?
Not. I'm not a pay for like, I don't pay for any television. I don't pay for any networks, any Netflix or anything like that. And I never have. It's and we don't get as much as what you guys get over in the States, but I guess if you're into your sport and on-demand television, yeah, it'll be huge, no doubt. But for me personally, it's something that it doesn't really quite register.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah. So those who aren't TV watchers, now I'm a fan of Netflix content and HBO's content and things like that. So but this is not, this type of content doesn't sound like it will appeal to me. At least I'll have to see what other live content they might offer. But Christian, what are your thoughts?
I think that, like, it's on the surface, it sounds fantastic. $35 a month to get access to all these channels. There's also a really cool feature that I don't think you mentioned actually, which is, you get individual DVR profiles. So, for example, if you wanted to record certain things and I wanted to record certain things, and Lisa, you watch certain things, you would have your own DVR. You would never run out of space, and then you'd get recommendations based on what you viewed. Now, Netflix kind of already does this when you log in and get their profile screen, but I like the fact that that is there. But I think overall, I think you're still going to end up paying a lot, because a lot of these things are add-ons. And so $35 is great, but then you're going to probably tack on, who knows what. Like, you'll tack on, if you want Showtime, hey, that's going to probably be more money, or we know it's going to be more money. If you want, Fox Soccer Plus, it's an add-on. I'm sure the NFL will be an add-on probably. You'll get you'll probably get the basic stations, and the things that are broadcasting like they currently are. But
right.
It's one of those things.
That's how I view this. That is exactly how I view this. When they listed out who was available, I thought, I don't need it. If it's ABC, CBS, NBC, Universal, I'll wait till it comes on Netflix, or I've got access to Amazon Prime already, which is another that also has a streaming service. So they really would need to come up with original content. That's the only type of content I'm into. Now I realize I realize that there are others who are into the live content, but it's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's not much of a deal, actually. I mean, and I know everybody wants a deal essentially, but I don't see it being as much of a deal. Like, I would think that, hey, if someone's going to get rid of their cable service, they want to lower their cable bill, for instance, and this partially does that, but then I think you're just going to have all these add-ons. It's going to make it more expensive, probably.
Yep, that's my feeling. And how many more? And I've had to stop myself several times because I'm like, you know what? I cut the cord, but now I've got a few subscriptions, so I've got to stop somewhere. I don't need any more subscriptions.
Right, because the thing is, you can only watch so many hours per day. I mean, and I don't watch TV very much. I mean, Lisa, you don't watch it very much. Nick, I don't think you watch it very much either.
I watch, but I have specific things that I watch.
Yeah. I watch television. I don't pay for it.
Right.
I don't watch paid for television. Like, I'll watch the news at night time, and there's a couple of soapies, but generally speaking, I don't spend a lot of time in front of the television. I spend more time in front of the computer screen doing working and on social media than sitting watching movies or sporting events, etc. Unless it's a big televised event that's a real must-watch. It wouldn't be like a regular weekly thing for me to jump on and just sit and watch sport or a sitcom or whatever.
By the way,
and
Nick...
Joe Wilson in the comments makes a great point, which many of us in the field are experiencing, and that is he can't even find time to watch all the Snapchat stories of the people that he wants to watch. I can't find enough time. When there's, Lisa mentioned it, we're one of the few live video shows that are on at a time that works for her. There's a lot of live video shows that I miss during the week while I'm at work, and there's a lot of Snapchat stories that I want to watch in the evening or that I end up watching, and I've just really got the TV on in the background, so they're going to have to get creative with their content.
And that's a great point. I mean, there's only so many hours in the day to which you can watch stuff. I mean, that's the tough part about the internet. I mean, it's essentially created this, you've essentially created two layers. Like, you've got a layer of, hey, this is my work, three layers. This is my work, this is my personal life, and then this is my internet life. And it's like, okay, how do you sandwich all those things together and still have enough? Yeah.
It all mixed up.
Yeah, I mean, how do you sandwich all that? I mean, is there something that, is it, hey, I only get like an hour a day and I'm very selective about what I actually choose to watch? Because you've got all these different places where all this content's coming in. So.
That's right. The person, which Joe Wilson, our former guest and friend, is referred to as the personal internet life, which is entertaining me because I'm building relationships. Doing that, it entertains me quite a bit more than something I can interact with.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think we've covered this one. Let's move on because we've got two more stories, and then we're going to get to some tools. So, with all the excitement behind Snap Inc.'s IPO today, this story works along the lines of their moving beyond just a social media app into more of a camera company and moving beyond the phone. This story, and I don't think I did a good job of linking the last story in Facebook, so let me put this story in here. Topic 4, give me, guys, as I get used to all this. But Snapchat has been playing with drones. The New York Times reported Tuesday that the company has worked on building its own drones, citing 3 people briefed on the project who asked to remain anonymous because the details are confidential. So they're working on drones. Snap is now a camera company, as we've been made aware. We feel like we're really at the beginning. They say they're a camera company, and they feel like they're really at the beginning of what cameras can do, evolved from just being a piece of hardware to software connected to the internet. And with this, they also they've done some live stories over the battle in Mosul in Iraq. They've done a live Snapchat curated live story using a drone in 10-second clips. They've also, Snap Labs and flying cameras, this is one of those things, they've also been in conversations with drone companies. Snap was interested in an acquisition with Lilly Robotics in December, reported by Business Insider, citing sources familiar with the matter. And Lilly Robotics offers a drone that tracks and follows its owners and simultaneously shoots video. Now, it's doing this independently of you controlling it. A hands-free recording. So this video that's created is a hands-free recording experience similar to Spectacle. So, although Spectacles is not entirely hands-free. So it seems that Snapchat is trying to stay ahead of its number one imitator, which would be Facebook at this point, with their hardware and flying cameras and snapping drones. And what are your thoughts on this, Lisa?
Well, first of all, I have to say I'm not a huge Snapchat and me don't gel so well. I found it maybe I'm showing my age here. I found it rather a difficult platform to really embrace. I don't think it's intuitive, and that's probably why I've gravitated more to stories on Instagram. But with regards to the way they're integrating drones, what I think is exciting is what's happening with drones at the moment. Whether it's Snapchat or any other way that they're being used, I see more and more people using drones in really very, very cool ways. And that's what I do find exciting. The visual aspect of we're living in a tourism destination. For those that missed the introduction, I live in Cairns, tropical North Queensland. It's very much a tourist destination. And we're surrounded by the Great Barrier Reef and World Heritage listed rainforest. And the drone footage that I have seen coming out from people who have only relatively recently started using drones is absolutely amazing. Beautiful, beautiful footage that I think anybody in the social space, whether it's Snapchat or whether it's Facebook Live or video footage using drones is going to be the way of the future. I think getting some amazing footage, and for the fact that Snapchat has integrated it here, I think it can only benefit them, definitely.
They seem to be a leading innovator, that's for sure, because it seems that everybody else in our final story will be about others sort of following what they're doing. So, Christian, what are your thoughts on the flying, snapping drones and the drones that you don't even have to control yourself, because it's going to control itself.
So I think overall, I love the idea of just having this thing be able to follow you, because one of the biggest things over the last few years has been, people are just glued to their phone, right? And then, this kind of gets you away from that, which is fantastic. And then you don't have to, for instance, you don't have to hire a video crew. You could essentially have this thing, for instance, follow you. I agree with Lisa as well, by the way, as far as drones. I mean, you're seeing a lot of really great footage being created. I think the key thing with all of this is, just like video, just like watching any sort of video or TV or whatever, you have a lot of receptors, a lot of different things to be able to record, your life, to record video of something, that you can then share out as your brand. But you have to remember that while these devices are all there, you don't need to use all of them. You kind of need to be very, very specific about what you're going to do with it and have a really good story. I think the story is really the key thing behind all of these.
Yes, I think you're right. And the story would be the most important behind it. But I was just thinking with a drone that follows you and does video footage for you, thinking what a great way for independent documentary filmmakers to get some stuff done without if you don't have a large budget.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think that obviously we're talking from a marketing perspective, from a user perspective, and how beneficial they can be for our businesses and actually creating content. But from someone watching it, I think the more visual you can get, the better footage you can get. You take it away from a static image of a rainforest, say, to an overlook. It just takes it to a completely different level. And if you can harness the ability to create that sort of content, that's going to be the challenge. Putting it into the hands of people who can use it correctly and learn how to use it correctly. And I do think security issues is going to be a problem that will come up in the future. Even in a local Facebook group that I'm in, there's people jumping on there getting very, very annoyed about drones rocking up in their backyard and filming. And so privacy is something that's going to have to be addressed with this type of innovation, that the more widely used it gets used by everybody.
We had a story in the States today that was just lovely. It was beyond privacy, or privacy. I like the way that you say it even better than we say it. But a gentleman attacked somebody else with his drone, and he went to jail for that, or has been arrested for it. So I think somebody was displeased with his drone use, and so he used the drone to physically assault the person. So.
The other YouTube video that I saw, and I don't know if it was a staged YouTube video or what, but on Sydney Harbour, this is in the selfie stick. Everybody had selfie sticks, and somebody got really annoyed, and then they turned out this all-out fight with selfie sticks.
Yep, yeah, it may have been staged, but that type of thing, yeah, that's.
Right,
Yeah, so that runs us into our last story for the night before Christian gives us some tools, and it looks like we're good. We're running a little ahead of time, which so means we made up some time for our technical difficulties at the beginning. And Medium, welcome to Medium Series, a new type of story on Medium. They are taking a little page out of Snapchat stories, which Facebook took and adapted to Instagram and to Messenger, and what we're hearing now is to Facebook app itself. With more and more readers turning to Medium on their phones, they began to explore, and this is from their own blog, they began to explore how they could provide a new means of storytelling that didn't simply conform to the constraints of a small screen, but instead used these constraints to build a more powerful type of story. So what they did in the video in this post, and I'm going to post this over on Facebook now, but this is essentially what they've said is, rather than ending a story, in the video they said rather than ending the story, they're going to allow it to be continued so you can make a story go on for as long as you want. So you can write something short and you can continue it later. So you don't have, or you can put together. It looks like video is definitely a part of this story building experience through Medium. What are your thoughts on this? I am not an avid user of Medium.
I think it's app overload. I'm in app overload because actually this is the first time I've heard of Medium. I've not heard of Medium before. No. I was like, I'm sitting here, was reading about it earlier on. I thought, why have I not heard about this? Is it big in the States, or am I just like under a mushroom or something?
It was big for a while. It was big for a while, but I at one point they kind of ran into some like financial issues, that sort of stuff. You know, and it made people kind of question, well, what in the world are they going to do here? Because essentially it was, you know, a place for you to go write content and be able to share it, almost like having your own blog. But yeah, so it's been around, I think, for a while. I know Vincent, one of our viewers, Mr. Vincent Orlak, actually previous co-host, actually, he actually tipped me off to this one earlier this week, and I will say this, I love this idea. Now, as far as if it's on Medium versus on other channels, you know, that's probably the bigger question on it. But yeah, Lisa, it's Medium was big around here. It kind of dwindled a little bit.
Yeah, my experience with Medium is if one of the folks who are currently watching or somebody that I know through social media writes something on Medium, that's when I see it. But other than that, I don't spend a lot of time going over to it.
So it's to all your platforms. So I don't quite understand how it works.
So it's like this. Medium is essentially like having your own blog on the Medium site. So, for example, instead of setting up your own hosting and your own theme and all that sort of stuff, you could go to Medium and publish your blog content and leverage the Medium audience. It's kind of like the same thing with going to LinkedIn and publishing publishing a blog on LinkedIn, or publishing to Facebook Notes, for instance, to Facebook. Very similar.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just more surprised. I'm just kind of more enamored with the fact that everybody's following the storytelling feature. That Snapchat seemed to really hit a chord with that, so everybody's following along.
Yeah.
So that leads us. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, has the storytelling taken off on Facebook in the States yet? Because we spoke a few weeks ago. We were chatting about it. I was watching one of your shows, and we've had it in Australia since last October. But has it really kind of taken off in the States? It hasn't taken off here. Like we've got the storytelling ability within Messenger on Facebook, and people write stories, but nothing like Instagram.
Well, I was going to say, well, yeah, what do you mean by that? Because I guess I would look at it like this. If I'm a business or I'm an individual, the storytelling has to come from within me or my business. And, all these, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, like all those things are, media, they're all just tools to allow you to tell your story in a more meaningful way. I I have, I honestly, I still don't see that a lot within a lot of Facebook pages or a lot of Facebook groups and whatnot. People just kind of use them as like essentially forums where they can just post stuff.
Yeah.
But am I misunderstanding your question here, Lisa? I thought, were you talking about the actual stories within Facebook?
Yeah. Stories within the Facebook feature is exactly the same as the Instagram feature in Messenger. It rolled out in Australia. But I don't know if you guys have got it yet.
Oh, you're talking about.
I don't know that I've spent enough time on Messenger recently, other than sending a message to know that I have it, and I know I don't have it in the Facebook app yet, which we just talked about a week or two ago that it was maybe coming to the main app, but I haven't seen it there.
Even if it does, I personally don't think it will take off. It certainly hasn't here in Australia, but it might just be because it has a limited audience. It's Facebook's global, and if you can only talk to a segmented audience, then that might be why.
That's a good point. Excellent point. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up with some tools. What tools do you have for us today,
Actually,
Christian?
I want to jump back to this Medium thing real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
I got to say, the one thing that I really like about just the whole concept of this Medium series that they've done is, essentially you access this, by the way, from the Medium app, and you create a mobile story. Now, what's really cool about this is, let's take a business case, out of this. Let's say, what's the type of business you work with, Lisa?
Oh, I work with a range. I've got tourism operators, hotels, bars, mortgage brokers, a bit of a mix of everything.
Well, let's take tourism. Okay, let's talk tourism here. Tourism travel. Okay, so the way that this whole Medium series thing could be really useful is you create a series, and so it could be like if I'm traveling tourism, I might do something that is country specific, and all I have to do then is update that one country specific series that I've created. And now let's say Nick is following along in this Medium series. The fantastic thing about this is he can be like, say he's on like the second or third like item in that series. If he stops and he goes away and he comes back to the series, he's going to pick right back up where he was at. Now, but what's really fantastic about this is if I'm a business and I'm like constantly updating this, Nick could turn on notifications and he could get notified when new things are posted. And then the thing is, if I'm a business, like I can create, like I essentially just have to plan out what my series are going to be, and I can continually go back into these things, and I can add to one series, and I can go into another one and add another one, and I can create basically this micro content that is very, very, very specific for my audience, and I don't have to.
So the audience is how do you find your audience on this app?
Well, so you want to
just by your social channels. You're just like a normal blog. You would do like a normal blog.
Right. It's essentially like you're a business owner and you have this presence on this site. One is you'd be able to tap into the Medium audience, but you also would be wanting to encourage your customers, anyone who you work with, to go and check it out as well, and then to help you do the sharing of it. So
I'm gonna have to check it out.
That's what I love that. I love this idea, and I'm actually wondering, Nick, is this something that Facebook and a bunch of other sites are possibly going to steal? Because I think the one thing that really makes these things unique, at least makes this item unique, is that you can go back and update this and add to it, as opposed to, hey, I post something today and I create another campaign next week or next month. This is all built into this, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and that I missed. I was probably a little unclear when I was saying they have the to be continued. You can continue the story on at any time. Is how you did a better job of explaining it. Yeah, it is. That is unique. I don't know if Snapchat and Facebook and those might take on to this, because Medium really has been a longer form content type of site. It'll be interesting to see where they go. I don't know that it's enough to drive me to become an avid user of it, to tell you the truth, but it's certainly something I'll be interested in seeing how somebody puts one together.
And by the way, I agree with you completely with the fact that, is this something that people are going to like all of a sudden they're going to jump back into Medium. I don't know. I love the idea, though. That's the key thing.
Yeah. So, Christian, give us some tools tonight.
Okay, so we got 2 tools for everybody tonight. Nick and I talked. We've been trying to kind of cut back on tools to not give you so many because, as Lisa mentioned, she's on app overload. Nick, you're on app overload. I feel the same way sometimes. So, first tool, it's called Live Leap, and this is a tool for syndicating your Facebook Live content, not just to, for instance, like a Facebook page or a Facebook group, but also to be able to then publish this out to, say, Twitter or LinkedIn and so on. So basically, instead of publishing to one, for instance, right now we're going from the tool we're using now to the Facebook page, we would be able to also broadcast to all these other places at once using this Live Leap tool.
Right.
Yeah.
Live Leap was actually at Summit Live where I was last week, and they explained some of this there. They had a very infomercial type speech at first, which kind of turned me off to the experience. But the tool, I think, had they come out and told me about the tool to begin with, that would have been, because I think the tool is very impressive.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. I mean, I think here's the other thing: if people are getting into live video, this might, if this is your first live video, you're probably not going to use this to really, but if you're somebody who, you've got an established following on, say, on LinkedIn and also on Facebook, or you've got your audience mainly on Facebook and you want to drive them back from LinkedIn, this might be something you want to test out.
Yeah.
So, it's a paid tool. I think they give you a trial on it, but it is a paid tool. So.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah.
What are your thoughts on it, Lisa?
I actually think it looks really exciting. I mean, the fact that you'll be able to live stream to various platforms at once, that's what it is, correct? All at once,
yep.
Directly to the platforms. I think that's fantastic. If you're a solo person doing it, it'd be interesting how do you monitor it all and how you engage with people when you're on a live, because I think that's the benefit of a live, being able to immediately engage with people and build those relationships that way. But no, I think it's a fantastic tool if you're able to manage it.
And by the way, I just want to make sure I make this clear to everybody. So basically, it does. So you can push to, you have Facebook pages, you have Facebook groups, and then what it'll do is it'll, automatically tweet out something. You'll have a LinkedIn update, email alerts, text alerts. You can tap into training as well, depending on which package you go with. But yeah, so it's got a lot of. Looks like
this means you don't have to have 3 or 4 different cameras pointing at you while you're going live. You just have the one portal,
right.
And it streams out to everywhere. Okay.
Correct.
It pushes people, it takes your signal basically, so your Facebook, for instance, your Facebook signal, and it pushes out to the other channels. So
right.
It's nice, because I think it's $20 a month for the basic plan. It's a 7-day trial basically, but if you have something for $20, you probably would save that amount in time, I think, if you use something like this, instead of having to, let me open this window, let me open that window, and so on. So that's the first tool for
a real time saver if you have that kind of content. But I like the point that Lisa makes, which is, big part of it is I get to look over on the Facebook Live right now, and I get to see Joe Wilson's here, Barb Tomlin's here, Jessica Phillips is here, and thank them all for being here. And how do you really track that through multiple platforms?
Absolutely. Great point, by the way.
So what is our second tool tonight?
So our second tool for tonight is a new tool. It's called, sort of new, I guess. It's called MonsterInsights. And this actually, it was previously owned by the company. So for those of you who have your own blog, you probably have Yoast SEO installed. This was previously owned by Yoast SEO. It was called, I think, Yoast Google Analytics or something. But the company that bought this was Syed Balki, who owns OptinMonster. So we talked about OptinMonster last week. This is actually a tool they launched. It's basically a Google Analytics plugin for WordPress, as you can see there on screen. But what it does, which I think really makes it just a really useful tool, is it makes it easy, one, to add your Google Analytics tracking to your blog. You don't have to mess with any code, which is fantastic. A lot of people, website installations are getting more complex. So, this way you don't have to mess with any of that. But it also has a lot of really great real-time tracking You can track, for instance, Google AdSense ads if you're running those. It also has file download tracking, so you can track like PDFs and certain files to see what's performing the best. Another feature, at least for me, I thought was very useful is their custom dimensions feature. So you can actually track your authors, your categories, and your tags and searches on your blog. So you'll be able to see, for instance, hey, Lisa, she writes a blog post for us. She's our top contributor, for instance. You'll be able to at least see that. You'll be able to see if the categories are getting certain traffic to them over people viewing the individual article. So I think a lot of that's very useful, and it's a fairly inexpensive tool. I mean, given what it does.
Yeah, in fact, Scott Symes here in Facebook says cool because he's been looking for a plug-in like MonsterInsights. So he said thank you for that tool.
Happy to help.
Yeah. I think anything that you don't have to write code for is a winner for me.
I like that. I agree.
Absolutely. It's got so much functionality. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Absolutely. So.
And it's cheap. $20, did you say?
I think it's. Let's see. I think it depends on which plan you go with. They have like 3 options. They have like depends one on how many websites you need to actually put. So it's $40 a year. There's a $100 a year one, and then there's a $200 a year one. But it depends on how many sites you need to put it on and how much functionality you want. So, and but do what?
With that, there's so many tools. I mean,
they're all in US dollars, which is an absolute bummer because our exchange rate is shocking.
By the way, there's a light version as well, I think. So if you go to go to WordPress.org, I think it is, and search for MonsterInsights, I think you'll find their light option, which I think just pulls in a lot of the basic stats for you. So
good.
Yeah.
So they have a one that won't break the bank there, Lisa. So Lisa, tell us if you have anything exciting going on before we wrap up for the evening. I know that our audience missed out on some of your introduction from ChipMonkMedia. Is there anything exciting or upcoming that you'd like to share with the group?
Well, firstly, can I just quickly, I want to ask you a question while we're on tools. You may have brought it up in a previous session, like a chapter, but have you heard of Loom? Have you used Loom? Blade looks at something. No? It's amazing. Okay, I found it the other day. Can I quickly say, Loom is a Chrome extension. It's screen capture, video capture. And it is so simple, and it's free. And it literally is, it's a Chrome extension, so you press the button and then you can actually video, do tutorials or whatever. It is fantastic. I only came across it like last week, and what the beauty of it is, it actually has like a little window down in you place it wherever you want on your screen actually, so it still shows your face, so you can do a tutorial while you're doing screen capture. And anyway, that's just a super cool tool, I think, that needs to be shouted out there. It's Loom, Loom, and it's in the top of your Chrome extension, and you just press it whenever you need. I found it very useful. I was in a group and someone asked a quick question, how-to question, and it was the quickest for me to do a quick video of how to do it and share it into the group. It's that easy than it was for me to type it all out and explain to her how to do it.
Nice.
Wow.
Saves me so much time. It's amazing, and I think I don't know if it's in beta, but it is a new tool.
Okay.
Yeah, Jessica Phillips says on Facebook, she says it works like ScreenFlow and it's nice. She gave it a thumbs up.
Nice.
Really, really easy to use, and I think you get additional abilities if you invite people to use it. I guess it's the beginning of their rollout and getting people onto the platform. But definitely check it out. I've only just been using it for the last week or so.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, we'll put it on our list, and we'll run it through its paces and see how it works.
That's right. I think it's good.
Awesome. No, we'll definitely check it out.
For that. And tell everybody where they can find you, Lisa.
Okay, well, of course, I'm across all the social channels. The main social media channels that you can find me on and interact with me on are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. I am on Snapchat, but I'm not active on Snapchat. As I said, it's not really the platform for me. I do have a website, ChipMonkMedia.com.au, but right now it's having work done on it, so you'll be able to get onto it probably early next week. It should be right to go back up again. And so Chipmunk Media is across all channels, so easy to find me.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, Lisa. We really appreciate that.
Oh, look, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for bearing with us through the testing stage.
No problem. I mean, that's the joys of Facebook Live, isn't it? You know, we've all got to go through it. The tech issues. That's what makes it so real. I think that's what makes it Facebook Live so engaging, because you really never know what you're going to get.
I think that's the thing with live video for certain. It's very authentic.
Yeah, absolutely. So. I think you call really well, Christian. I mean, I think I would have been freaking out if that was happening to me.
So
he kept a cool head. Well done tonight, Christian.
Thanks. I'm glad we built that extra buffer of time in, to kind of get started and work out some of these kinks. So I want to thank everybody, by the way, who's watching. If you have any feedback, by the way, about the show, just reach out to myself, reach out to Nick. Just let us know if there's there's audio issues, video issues, that sort of stuff, things that you might want to see us improve. This is it's a new take on what we were doing with Social Chatter. First time we've actually done a 3-person interview with this tool that we're using, and it's been we spent a lot of time actually trying to get this right. So thank you very much, everyone. Nick, you want to wrap us up?
That's it for tonight. Our guest again was Lisa Monks with @ChipMonkMedia across all the social platforms. I'm Nick Rishwain, and our host and technical director, Christian Karasevich. With that, good night, everybody. Thank you, and stay. We'll have some information for you in the next couple of screens.
So for those of you looking to catch the show next week, for instance, we're going to be over on Facebook. Right now, we're going to be here at 9 o'clock next week at facebook.com/social chefs. And if you have any questions or you want to connect with us, we also have an email newsletter. We send out basically a daily email with curated content, and along with we'll let you know what the topics are going to be for the week. And if you want to connect with us, check out facebook.com/social chefs. We're also at Social Chefs on Twitter, and youtube.com/social chefs, where we like to publish social snacks, our 5-minute weekly social media tutorials. So with that, I want to say thanks a lot, everyone, for watching. Nick and Lisa, it's been an absolute blast, and thank you so much for making this such a fun show to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah, have a good day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.